Bruce?
Um, for just about all of the speakers before the commission, they talk about efficiency, and tonight is no exception. And I'm just curious, even in the 97 report, no one could ever seem to quantify this. And, in business, usually we try to quantify the problem so that we know, well, does the cost, is it below the benefit? And I'm just curious if anyone here tonight can quantify this inefficiency problem under the current form of government, and just some of the problems that each of you were talking about tonight, and then how between Dan's tenure and Leslie's, there's more administrative staff to help out. Were these issues that only a new form of government could fix, or is it really just a matter of additional staffing to help people, do their job better?
Bruce, I think that's a great question. And I remember when I came on board, and of course, Jay was also a real blessing to the county at that time. We found how many people we had open positions that we were budgeting for every year and not filling. And remember, we were in a recessionary time, 2011, 2012. We had positions in the planning department where we can't get permits out today. We had positions that were never being filled, and we had no trouble getting permits out. So you talk about inefficiencies, looking at how we did. So we eliminated those positions, yet we were taxing the citizens for them every year. But how to run, when you talk about inefficiencies, I don't know that I would ever expect us to go in and analyze how the clerk, or the assessor oversees driver's registration. I think that would really be getting down there in the weeds. I mean, I like to think about bigger dollar items and bringing in people that have an expertise. Like I said, the self-funded policy, our benefits package. Our benefits package is, I proposed something. It's funny, I was just talking to Nancy today, and she goes, if we would have done, Dan, what you suggested, she'd be so far ahead, she's over there bobbing her head now. But, yeah, PTO. But because I wanted to remove 2 days of pay or 2 days of vacation pay, people were against it. It'd be tens of thousands of dollars ahead today.
Yeah, but is that something that would have required a change in government for that to happen? Who would have made that decision? Would the VOCC under 5 members with a county manager say, no, we're not going to do that?
I'm going to suggest that we, as a generalization, we get people with different levels of experience or expertise to be the elected officials. But they don't necessarily come in with the level of business experience that they all claim to have, but they all say they're businessmen or women, in coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched it. I mean, I can talk with other people that were in county government, and it took me a couple of years to say, well, why are we doing that? And it was with somebody high up, let's say, maybe in the finance department. And they'd say, and I go, well, what? And it was just, it caught, without being too specific, it surprised me how sometimes the thinking was not very deep. It was just because the way they've always done it. And they had never come from that private arena where you had to be more creative, more aggressive. And believe me, when I proposed some things that were aggressive, boy, you get a lot of pushback around here. Change is not good. Change, status quo is good. I mean, it's tough to push that through, and it's tough even with the other elected officials.
So would a county manager change that?
A county manager would bring, in my mind, with the right person, brings a level of expertise on how to, probably with some kind of advanced degree in public administration and things like that, how to streamline the operations Joan's talking about in ways that the county administration that we now have with 3 commissioners, now albeit they've added definitely some expertise at certain levels that weren't there when I was there, would help streamline some operations. If you look back over the last 20 years at the biographies or the resumes of people that have been county commissioner, it's a variety of levels of expertise.
Yeah, I guess, the problem is that if they're not that good at the county commissioner level, how are they going to be good enough to hire the right person?
You know what? Great question. I don't
I
have,
mean,
but you know what?
it's like the balloon. You squeeze on one end and it comes out over here. You have to have good people all around, and I keep asking myself, what is so wrong with our current form of government, so I can understand the problem. And and a lot of people use businesses as an example of never run my business this way. Well, I would never change my business unless you could quantify my problem and then quantify the solution. And so I can't seem to quantify our problem. I can assign a value to the voter who wants to be able to. I know there's a value there for the person who wants to vote for their elected officials. So we should be able to quantify what the inefficiencies are, quantify what we're going to gain, and also look at what is the value to the voters in this county to be able to elect their own um, officials in these different parts of the government. And no one seems to be looking at it this way. We're just saying there's a problem and we need to change it.
Well, I'm going to disagree that some people are sitting in here on a daily basis doing it,
Hmm.
but without you attending meetings on meetings for weeks on end and seeing it as a private business owner, you would be frustrated.
Well, that's why I'm not in
Yeah,
government in
yeah,
that sense. But one of the things too with our government, and originally when it was designed in this country, the Senate was a body that was designed to slow down the legislative process. It was actually meant to be inefficient, and so sometimes I keep wondering if this form of government, that inefficiency that we're talking about, is the exact feature of it,
but
that
you're
it's meant to be that way.